If you've ever had that entrepreneurial dream, you've felt this massive tension, right? On one side, you have this business you were just dying to build. And on the other, you have the relationship, your family, that you absolutely cannot afford to lose. Well, today, we're going to show you how to win at both without having to sacrifice one for the other.
Wow. Does that question hit close to home or what? It's what entrepreneur Jay Fietlinger's wife asked him one night while he was, you guessed it, answering emails in bed. And she wasn't mad. She was just tired. Tired of competing with his business for his attention. It's a real gut check moment that so many founders and their partners know all too well.
So that late night email session, that's just a symptom of a much, much bigger issue. The whole entrepreneurial journey puts this insane pressure on you, the founder. But the real unspoken stress, that's often felt at home. Building a business is never a solo mission. It affects your entire family, and figuring out how to navigate that is a whole other level of difficult.
And this is where it can get really, really tough. I mean, one founder on a Reddit forum shared that after a year of grinding on his business plan, he finally showed it to his wife. Her response? She told him she had no faith in the project. Oof. That kind of thing, that lack of belief from your partner can feel way more crushing than any market setback.
But what if we've been looking at this whole thing wrong? What if the one thing you think is holding you back, your day job, is actually your greatest strategic advantage? It's time to reframe your 9 to 5. It's not a hurdle, it's your secret weapon. It's the silent investor that's going to power your new venture.
Okay, so let's just bust the biggest myth in startup culture right now. The story we're always sold is this dramatic, quit your job and take a leap of faith narrative. But the smarter strategy, the one that actually protects your finances and your family, is to use that job to build a solid launch pad first.
So here's how that launch pad actually works. Your paycheck becomes this steady, reliable funding stream. I mean, think of it this way. Your job is your very first investor, and it's one that asks for zero equity in return. This drastically cuts down your personal financial risk, which lets you make calm, strategic decisions instead of desperate ones. It's the ultimate safety net that gives you the freedom to experiment and figure out what really works.
Okay, so once you've dialed down the financial pressure, we can focus on the next huge challenge, communication. Getting your partner's buy-in. It's not about convincing them or winning an argument. It's about having the right kind of conversation from the very start. And here it is. This is the core of so many arguments. You go into a conversation about the business with one specific need, but your partner meets you with a completely different approach. They might jump straight to logical, fix-it mode when all you really wanted was to vent and feel heard for a minute. And that mismatch? That's exactly where the frustration starts to build. So the key is to define the conversation up front. Are you having a download conversation where you just need to get stuff off your chest and have someone listen? Or are you having a solution conversation where you're actively looking for their help to solve a problem? Just knowing the difference is a total game changer. And honestly, it can be this simple. First, you decide what you need. Second, you declare it. That simple opening line sets your partner up for success. It gives them a clear playbook on how to best support you. And third, if they slip back into problem-solving mode during a download, just gently redirect them. It works. Now, when you do decide to have a solution conversation, especially about the money side of things, talk is not going to be enough. You need transparency. You need cold, hard data that can turn fear into actual confidence. This is so, so important to understand. When your partner expresses concern about the business, it's almost never an attack on your dream or your ability to succeed. It's a totally valid fear for the family's shared financial future. Their skepticism is really a call for reassurance, for stability. And the single best tool for providing that reassurance is something called a runway budget. Now, don't let the name scare you. This isn't some complex financial model. It's a super straightforward forecast that shows exactly how you'll manage costs and cash flow, and it turns your abstract plans into concrete, tangible proof of stability. To get that partner buy-in, your budget needs to speak directly to their biggest concerns. So you start by showing them, look, our personal 3 to 6 month emergency fund is right here, it's set aside, and it's safe. Then you clearly list the one-time startup costs and the monthly burn rate. And here's the kicker. You point directly to the funding source, your day job salary. This shows the business isn't a threat to the family budget. It's being funded by income you already have. Okay, a budget is great, but it has to be based in reality, not just wishful thinking, right? So before you even think about quitting that job, you need to prove the business idea on a small scale. This is all about getting real-world validation with as little risk as possible.
To do this, you build what's called a minimum viable product, or an MVP. But let's make it truly minimal. First, just focus on solving one core problem and solving it exceptionally well. Next, use no-code tools to whip up a prototype fast and cheap. Or even better, start with a concierge MVP. That's where you are the product. You manually deliver the service to your first few customers. This is the ultimate test. It proves people will actually pay for your solution before you've invested a ton of time and money building it out.
All right, a quick but super critical legal check. While you're still employed, you have to be careful. Dig up your employment contract and look for any non-compete clauses. And this is a big one. Never, ever use company resources for your side business. Not the laptop, not the software, not your work hours. Check if you have to disclose your project. And if you're ever unsure, a brief chat with an attorney is money very well spent.
So, you've done the work. You've built a budget, you've got the communication flowing, and you've validated your idea. Now, all these pieces come together to create a smart, calculated exit strategy. This isn't about jumping off a cliff. It's about launching from a platform that you've carefully and deliberately constructed.
And that right there is the core message. The entire process we've just walked through is designed to de-risk the journey. Quitting your job isn't the brave, impulsive first move. It's the final, logical, and confident step you take when everything else is already in place and working.
You see how the journey is so methodical? You start with stable funding from your job, use clear communication to get your partner on board, you build that runway budget to prove it's financially sound, you validate the whole idea with an MVP and real paying customers, and only then, when the business income can actually replace your salary, do you finally make the leap. It's a ladder, not a leap of faith.
So ultimately, the question becomes this. This framework isn't just about minimizing risk in some business venture. It's about building a sustainable foundation for the life you really want, with your partner right there by your side, not on the sidelines. It's about turning a risky dream into an achievable reality.